Hello, chefs. Let's talk about Module 2. Thank you for watching this walkthrough. Hopefully it will help you put the pieces together about what you're doing and why for this module, which is a very important one because you are really kicking off on the local food related problem project, and you are going to learn one of the most crucial aspects of English 101, which is how to conduct research properly and how to use it properly and how to document it properly. All critical. So it's gonna be a lot, but we're gonna do it. If you have not watched and or read about the local food problem project, what are you doing? Get on it. It's time to lock in. So the overview is in module 2 in course content. You can read it there for yourself. It goes over the whole project and everything you're going to do and like how to pick your topic and what the parameters are for the topic. That is super duper important. So let's get started on the right foot. Thank you to everybody who already watched this and showed up to the library Zoom session prepared and with a good sense of what it is that you're going to be doing and why you were at that library session in the first place. If you did not attend and did not already watch the recording, it is available in the most recent announcement before this one. I would not skip on that because it walks you through a great place to get resources for this project, but also how to use Copilot, the AI that we use at Greenville Tech officially, to do your brainstorming and preliminary research discussion board. Okay, so it'll show you like where to find the links you need to do part of the project and all that kind of stuff. So check it out if you missed that. For those of you who made it, it was so nice to see you. Okay, so this week we're going to officially kick off the project. So get up to speed on all this stuff if you have not already. And then you've got another video response. So for this one, you're going to watch 2 videos and then you're going to talk about it in a video. So the first one is about Chef Sherman Anderson, who is uh, also known as the Sioux Chef because he is from the Sioux Nation tribe, and he talks about his restaurant and what he does. So you're going to watch that, and then you're going to watch the sphere of concern versus sphere of influence video that I put up for you. It's very short. Um, Actually, I would watch this one first before this one, just so that you have some context for like thinking about what he's doing and how he's doing this, because that's what you're going to talk about, and also how this is going to influence what you're going to do for yours. So that is all in there. Y'all did a great job with the initial video responses, so I foresee another great round of those. So that is due this Thursday, and then by Sunday, you are going to post your brainstorming and preliminary research that you did using Copilot to the discussion board for everyone to see and take a look at and give you feedback on. Very important start to the project. So definitely, take your time with it. Don't rush it. Well begun is half done, right? Prep work, all about prep work. This is prep work toward the larger project. All right. You don't have to like stick with whatever topic you came up with here. Hopefully you will. Hopefully you will have spent some time with it and really thought about it. But you're not officially stuck with it until this point. Okay, week 6. By that point, you're going to be pretty locked in. So just keep that in mind. All right, then we're going to get into research methods and source types, evaluating your sources for credibility. This is huge because you have to go into it assuming that we are skeptical about claims related to food and food safety, health, all kinds of stuff, because people are making some pretty cuckoo claims lately. I think you'd probably agree. Maybe you believe some of them, maybe you don't. Maybe you're a skeptic as well, but you need to cultivate a skeptic's approach to this and just go into everything knowing that we are skeptical, that we're not just going to take it at face value just because you say it doesn't make it true. We need you to bring the receipts. Okay, and that's what sources are all about. But you have to have good quality sources, because if somebody is feels like you're making dubious claims, the first place they're going to look is as your sources. That's what we should do, right? That's academic research and discussion. And then we're going to get into the MLA, the Modern Language Association, documentation, citation, all that scary stuff. It's really not. I think it makes a lot of sense. Granted, I've been doing this for a long time, but I have a fairly lengthy, comprehensive presentation that covers all the important stuff. I would not make this like a last second thing. You do have a quiz on it, but there is so much information and so much stuff covered in this. I think it's like 35 slides, and that is definitely against rules of PowerPoint, but that was the best way to get you the stuff. So don't give yourself like 10 minutes to look over this, because you will regret that later. And don't make it the last time you look at it either, because it basically tells you everything you need to know in addition to your Bedford Handbook chapters. Okay, so these were very carefully chosen for their helpfulness to what we're doing here. They are not optional. Um, Everything you need to know is covered in these as well. Okay, talking about source use, citation formatting, all that. I'll know pretty quickly whether you guys are actually looking at this stuff or not, because people always seem to get things wrong in the same way when they don't do that. It's very sus. Okay, so the problem explication paragraph, you need to read the instructions for that so that you understand what it is you're going to be doing in terms of like citing your source for this, because you're going to need to have at least one online source picked out at this point. You're going to put it to what we call the CRAP test. That stands for credibility, how recent it is, applicability, authority, and purpose of the source. So it's a fairly like quick and useful test that you can put any source to decide whether it's credible and worthy of your time and attention. Very limited supply of that these days, right? You are going to read an article called Why We Fell for Clean Eating, and you're going to do a response to that. So the reason behind this is one of the parameters of the local food problem project is that whatever you pick for the problem has to be an actual problem. And the reason is, well, we don't want you to waste a bunch of time looking into something that's not actually a problem. We also don't want you to waste our time telling us about something that is not, in fact, a real problem, because we only have so much time and attention to dedicate toward that. That's what the sphere of concern versus sphere of influence video talks about. But also, sometimes we can make things so much worse when we try to fix something that isn't broken, particularly when it comes to eating. So back around 2011, I want to say, there's this whole movement called clean eating, and everyone was really into it. I knew people were really into it. I knew culinary professionals who were really into it, but it ended up doing well, people don't talk about it anymore, but it's back, but in like a new disguise, basically. And that's something you're going to talk about too. Is like, have you heard similar things lately, like on social media and stuff, about what's healthy, unhealthy, toxic, not toxic, that kind of stuff? It's the new thing, just in a different sheep's clothing, so to speak. But this kind of stuff can be extremely damaging and dangerous to people, if done inappropriately, and a lot of people did do it inappropriately. So that's why we take it really seriously, that like, all right, is this in fact something that is bad and is a problem? Because if not, then like we can actually make things worse by trying to fix it. So what happens when you try to fix something that is not in fact a problem? Well, you get clean eating. Okay. Yeah, read those chapters for sure. Read the article. You're going to do a video response to that. You're going to find a source, an online source. So online means basically anything you get through Google or YouTube, or like any kind of open access online source. So there's a bunch of different things linked in that library guide, LibGuide, that Rachel Peterson made for you guys. You can go check that out. It could be something you found through your AI chat that it linked to. It could be something totally different than that you just found through Google or YouTube or whatever. Any of that would be fine, but you are going to put it to the test and prove that it is um, a reliable, credible source before you get to use it. You're going to get some practice with in-text citation formatting as well. And there's not that many practice assignments in this course, but this is one of them, and it's pretty important. So we'll see what's making sense to you guys and what isn't. And then in week 6, you're going to learn about what's called team paragraph structure. This is really important when we're using research in our writing. So T stands for topic sentence, E stands for evidence, A stands for analysis, and M stands for main point. And another, what's the word? Anagram? Not anagram. You know what I'm saying? Oh my gosh. Words. Perimenopause. Going blank. What's it? When you use initials for something, it'll come to me later. ICE stands for introduce, cite, explain. So this is a like Canva both of these are actually Canvas that I put together for you. This is how we bring quotes from sources into our writing in a way that is not what's called drive-by quoting, or just like a randomly tossed in quote, seemingly for no reason. It's a very common problem with English 101 students, and I'm going to break you of that problem, because it, you got to do something good with it if you're going to bring it in, right? It's your ingredients. You're the chef. It's not going to do it all by itself. You gotta cook it. All right, this is how we cook it. Ironic calling it ice. All right. Sorry for those of you screaming the word at me right now of what it is I'm trying to say. It's not anagram, it's something else. All right, you got another Bedford chapter. This covers works cited entry format, like how a works cited page is formatted, what goes into works cited entries, what the point of a works cited page is. This was covered in somewhat briefly in this one as well, but this is where you get into the real nuts and bolts. You are going to do an ICE assignment on your online source. You're going to get some practice with introducing, citing, explaining. You can use this in your actual paragraph. Okay, I don't like making you guys do work for no reason. So if you want to go ahead and if you got something you plan on quoting in this paragraph as a source, then you can go ahead and knock it out here, and I'll tell you whether you're doing it right. Hooray! And then you're going to do another practice assignment where you are going to like do different kinds of works cited entry formats for different sources that I give you to do. And then you're going to write your problem explication paragraph. This is the third and final paragraph y'all are going to do before we get to the essays. So basically, an explication just means like explaining something in detail. This is where you're using your source, okay, your online source that you chose, that you found online, that you have vetted and made sure it's good. And you're going to cite and all that kind of stuff in the paragraph. We're going to practice with just one source. You're going to tell me who is affected by the problem, like what this problem actually is, where it's happening, like the who, what, where, when, how, all that of the problem before we go any further, so that we're like you and I and everybody are like completely on the same page about what it is we're actually talking about here, who's affected by it, all that stuff, before we get into the causes, effects, proposals versus solution, all that stuff. Okay, so all the instructions are where they should be, right? Which is Module 2 assignments, right? We've got the video response, we've got that discussion board, the clean eating response. This is the quiz you're going to do on that super long, super in-depth PowerPoint I made for you. This is where you're going to do that crap test chart for your online source. You got your grids assignments where you're going to practice in-text citations and works cited. This is your ICE assignment, which is basically just like, again, questions about your online source. You're going to pick a couple of sentences from it, from the source. You're going to practice with introducing, quoting, and citing it. You're going to practice paraphrasing as well. Paraphrasing meaning putting it in your own words. And you're going to practice citing. And then here's the actual paragraph itself. Of course, the instructions, as always, are in course content. But again, before we do anything else, we need to understand what exactly the problem is, where it is happening, and who is affected by it. And that's what the paragraph is going to be about. One outside source, uno, one single paragraph. Okay. And same rules as always, right? You're going to use MLA formatting for the paper, where you lose 5 points. I've got details here about your sources, which you need to submit a screenshots of your source with your paragraph. I need to be able to verify. That's what we're going to do for all of our research-based assignments in here. Trust but verify. Bring the receipts. So there are instructions on providing source screenshots. Those are back in the Start Here module course overview. It's called Source Screenshots Requirements. So check that out. It's got some examples of what it should look like as well. This is really important. So this came up in the library Zoom session, right? You can use a source that you found through AI generated search results, but you may not use the AI generated overview itself as a source. You'll never get to do that in this course because, and this came from, I think ironically, this came from an AI generated overview on how to cite your results from an AI overview. Replicating the exact AI response that you got is not possible. It's like an Etch-a-Sketch. It gets shaken up every single time. So even if you told me what the prompt was and where you went to and all that kind of stuff, like I can never get the exact same response you did. And the whole point of source citation is that a reader can use it to track down exactly what you said you found, exactly where you said you found it. Otherwise, what's the point? Okay, so you can use stuff you found through it, but you can't use that itself. It is a tool, it is not a source. Okay, much like you can't just cite Google as a source. That's not a source, it's a tool that gets you two sources. Okay, which you'd be amazed how often students cite Google as a source for me. Like, thanks for nothing. So helpful. I'm being sarcastic if you can't tell. Okay, so there's a lot of other instructions in here as well. Just as a friendly little reminder, don't use AI to write your stuff. That's insulting to me and your classmates and to the people who are experiencing the problem you're talking about. It's okay. It doesn't have to be perfect, but it does have to be real and it does have to come from you. That's who we want to hear from. All right, chefs, lots to do, but you can do it. And if you have any questions, reach out. If you haven't already watched your feedback video from me on your first paragraph, please do. I spent a lot of time making that stuff for y'all. But if it seems like you're not watching, which it shows me whether you did or not, I'll stop and you can just flounder around on your own forever. That's fine. But if you want it, I'll give it to you. I'll keep giving it to you as much as you want. Alrighty, hang in there and keep on keeping on. Take care. Bye bye.